Jay here, Stretford, Paddock. This is Agree or Disagree, where we tackle United topics and we decide whether we agree with a certain statement about said topic or we disagree. We've all got our lovely little boards here so you can see how this goes. You should know it by now, but if you don't, get involved in the chat and the comments anyway, and you'll get the gist. It's all very, very easy to understand. Joining me as always is Lauren. How are we doing?
I'm all right, how are you?
Yeah, did you have a good Christmas and New Year and all that?
It was a day, wasn't it?
Well, Christmas and New Year.
Well, 2 days then.
It was, right, okay.
Just not the greatest.
Yeah, I had a really good Christmas and New Year. Yeah, it was really good.
It's more like it.
Glad to be back.
It was
the run-up was better.
Right, all right. No, I don't like
agree or disagree.
I don't like the run-up to Christmas. It's stressful. I'm like panicking if we've got everything covered. Is everything all right? Do you know what I mean? I can't relax until after.
Is the turkey bulbous enough for everyone to eat it?
Yeah, exactly.
Feed the whole family.
Is he going to feed everyone? Yeah.
This is why I love doing content with you, Joe. You get words like bulbous. Straight in, that's Joe Smith. You know him by now. Listen, we've got a load of topics. There's a lot of stuff going on in there with Manchester United at the minute. We enjoyed the Liverpool draw, if you can enjoy a draw, but you can. For about 24 hours before all the shit started, innit? When it was like, oh, we're going to sell Kobbie Mainoo and INEOS are going to burn down Old Trafford. It's just like, whoa, starting again already. So we're going to get into some of those topics. Make sure before we do, you are hitting like, share and subscribe. Right, my first statement is a loan move in January would save Rashford's United career. Ooh. So there you go. Wow.
Yeah. It's unanimous, isn't it?
It's unanimous.
Yeah,
we will put a poll in the chat as well, so you can vote. You can get involved and you can vote. Let us know what you think. No one feels like Marcus Rashford is salvageable then. No. I'm going to guess from that. We don't think not getting a loan move is going to save his United career.
No.
Is this just, start with you, Lauren, is a loan move in January, which looks like it could happen. We don't know yet for definite, but it looks like Dortmund's off the table. Milan could still be on the table. Is this just with a view to him leaving United forever?
Personally, anyway, any loan move at the age of, 27, 28, I just think loans should be for younger players to kind of progress a little bit more, get more game time.
Right.
He'll come back at, 29, he's nearly 30. What's the point? I just don't think it'll make any difference. He may go to a different league, play a bit better, but then he'll come back to the Prem and it'll just be the same.
Right.
I just don't think he's at a point where he can improve much more. So there's no point.
It's quite rare, isn't it, for a player of that age to go on loan and come back and change and like Andy Martial went on loan at a similar age, a bit younger, and I don't want to be harsh on him or severe, but it was a complete disaster.
Yeah.
It didn't do anything for either of them, and he basically came back and then was more or less a fringe player at United for the next 2 years. Chelsea, you've disagreed with the idea that he can salvage his United career. Do you think this is it then? Do you think he needs a loan move just to get a move out of United?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't think anything is really going to save his United career now. I think it's done. I do, and I think the only way the only thing that will come from a loan move for Rashford will be to put him on the market, and then obviously people seeing him playing, and then because I don't think he's going to get any more game time under Woods. He's been on the bench and he's still not come on. I just think that the only way that he would save his career under United if he came on and played well, but I just think he's completely out of favour now with what he said about wanting a new challenge. So I don't think anything's going to save his career at United. I think he's done for.
Joe, do you think a loan move could get? I mean, obviously you've agreed with the idea or disagreed with the idea that it's going to salvage United career. You think it could get his career going? Because he's 27. 27.
Yep.
He's still young. Like, he's still got at least 4 years left physically at the sort of top level, unless he gets a serious injury, obviously. He is a player who has historically scored a lot of goals and against some good teams as well. Do you think that his career is salvageable? Do you think this is going to work for him?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think if he can be bothered, if he's, the rumours that you hear that it feels like every couple of weeks there's a couple more rumours about him going out or this, that, or it does feel as though we're approaching a point where you kind of have to say he's going out too much. He's focused on other things, it seems like, and I'm not saying that they're all true, but if Amarim's leaving him out because Amarim thinks he's going out too much, well, that's all that matters anyway, because your boss thinks you go out too much and he doesn't play because of it. It amounts to the same thing. Maybe he's harshly done by, and if he is, then even better, because we'll see an even better Marcus Rashford when he goes on loan. I do think, though, on the other hand, when you look at, like, let's say he goes to AC Milan or Borussia Dortmund or whoever it is, they're a couple of teams mentioned. He goes there and I think is their best winger immediately. Yeah. If you can see even like 70% of Marcus Rashford. I know Pulisic is having a good season, but I've seen enough of Pulisic over the years at Dortmund and at Chelsea to know Rashford is a better player.
I agree.
I think Marcus Rashford is a better player than Rafael Leao. I don't know, in terms of off the pitch and all that stuff. Put that to one side. In terms of talent and ability, Rashford is the best player in that of those wingers. It's just whether he can sort of show himself. And if he does, perfect, because then he goes there, and whether it's Milan, if they can afford him and his wages or not, or Dortmund the same, in the summer he'll go somewhere else. If he can get, let's say 10 goals in between now and the end of the season and look really good, United might get 40-50 million for him, which I think is probably all we can hope for. But I think that's more than possible. You just have to see a version of Rashford where he looks like he's doing a bit more and trying a bit more. Yeah. Or, let's face it, go to a league where it doesn't matter if you go out. There are leagues in Europe where you can go out and you can maybe take your eye off the ball a little bit in training and you'll still be one of the best players in that league, because they aren't the Premier League. Yeah. And the amount of times you see players coming from other leagues to the Premier League and their numbers going down, it's very rare that someone comes from another league to the Premier League and their numbers skyrocket, but it happens all the time going the other way. Yeah. So if Marcus Rashford goes to Milan or Dortmund, unless he's completely gone in the head, like his confidence is shot, he's sort of lamenting what his career's become and he just can't be bothered, I think you'll see a fantastic version of Marcus Rashford, and hopefully for him, get a move away. I don't think he's going to turn around at United, but I think it can be a story with at least a sort of an ending that's compatible for both parties.
I'd like to see that. I think it's got to the point now where a lot of fans don't even want to see him move and do well. They just rather he sort of, went and had a terrible rest of his career. I don't want that from Marcus Rashford. I agree with everything you guys have said. I don't think he's going to get a low move, and even if he smashes it, I don't think Ruben Amorim's going to look at him smashing it at another club and go, I need him back here. I think he'll just think, I was right to move him on and we can get some decent dough for him. Yeah. So I agree with what you said. I just hope, you touched on something there, Joe, that if he goes to a club or a league where you might get away with going out a bit more, that doesn't encourage him to go out more, and to become even more complacent with his football, because he needs to go away, focus, get himself back to performing at top level, get himself back in England's squad and get some decent money from Marcus Rashford, because if he goes and scores a load of goals and clubs want him, then hopefully United can get good money for him and invest that money properly. Brian Casey in a super chat says, he's been a member of the academy for 23 months, says Rashford's United career is done, but we all know he'll go and smash it somewhere else, and the usual idiots will say we should never have sold him. I don't know if he definitely will, but if he does, you will get that. We've had that with every single player. Every single player that's left United and done well. Yeah. People have gone, we never ever should have let him go.
McTominay, for example.
Straight away, people say it. Like, we shouldn't have let McTominay go, and it's like, well, there's a reason.
People said that about Smalling when he went to Roma.
Yeah, because he did smash it at Roma.
The FIFA Serie A team of the season, and everyone's like, we should never let him leave. It's like, well, we know what he's
doing. But every time that player, when they're still at United, it's always, get rid of him, oh shit, he's that, and then as soon as they go and do better somewhere else, it's like, we should never have sold him. Yeah. It's just so contradictory, and that's what half the fan base is like.
Rashford having a good 6-month loan period will benefit everyone. It'll benefit Rashford because he can go and enjoy his football, hopefully, and get a move and play consistent football, and it'll benefit us because we'll hopefully get more money for him. So it's a win-win situation, really.
Yep.
Yeah.
Unless he goes somewhere, he drops down a standard, is terrible.
Yeah,
then it's a real lose-lose situation.
Yeah.
That's what happened. Do you remember that's what happened with Martial?
Yeah.
And it was like, he goes to Sevilla, and they weren't that far off the top of the league. No. And it was like, he could help them get the title, he could push on, he could score a load of goals. And I think after his first game, I think Lopetegui was a manager, wasn't he? He had a go at him publicly and said he needs to up his game. And then he scored, I think he scored one goal in the Europa. He was really scathing. And I think he scored one goal in the Europa and came back basically devalued. Yeah. Hopefully that won't happen. No. Santa Notch says, yet another first team player we're going to be letting go for fuck all compared to what could have been. I think what could have been might just be the sort of the overall gist.
That's going to be the name of the documentary about Man United's last 10 years, isn't it?
What could have been. Yeah, all the players and signings we could have signed, and the ones that would look like were going to make it but didn't. A low move will save Rashford's career. In the poll in our chat, 50-50.
You joke. Wow. Save his career or United career?
United career. Sorry, it says save his career here. cheeky there, producer Ethan.
Because I think it will save his career, but I don't think that'll save his United.
Yeah, so I think we've done a bit of a sneaky one there.
Set the viewers up there.
Yeah.
That's it, yeah. Sorry, everyone.
Sorry. Yeah.
Honestly.
Not to throw anyone under the bus, but it's completely producer Ethan's fault.
Yeah, but let's just say Ethan's got the tread marks of the 77 bus all over his face right now.
Wow.
Thrown under it.
It's 77, where does that go?
It goes from Works up to Chesterfield.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good
The
stuff.
more you know.
Actually, that might be the 50.
50 goes to Trafford Centre.
50, the X50 goes there rapid.
Yeah.
Right.
Right, what we've got next?
Bus talk and Trevor.
Yeah, it's a new segment on this show.
Anywho.
Do buses only have 4 wheels?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I think.
When you think about those lorries that have got like 30, I think, come on, a bus is just as good as they are.
Yeah, they are.
Anyway.
Well, that derailed.
That's a good point. Moving on. Just a statement, right? You can agree or disagree.
Let's have Jay single for this so we can clip it up and put it out without anyone replying to it.
This is gonna get clipped up,
Say it.
and I'm gonna get death threats off members of my own family. It makes financial sense to sell Kobbie Mainoo.
Obviously it does. It's not even an opinion. I'm not saying sell it, but it obviously makes financial sense.
Yes, financially.
Yeah.
But I don't want to.
Don't mean obviously don't do it.
Please don't.
Of course it makes financial sense.
I disagree.
What do you mean? How can you disagree, Jay?
No, it doesn't.
Why not?
Because, right, that is based on the idea that you sell Kobbie Mainoo for 100 million or whatever, and you spend that money in a better way than keeping Kobbie Mainoo, which ends up not making financial sense because if you don't do it right, let's say, for example, you go out and you buy a Mudryk, with the Kobbie Mainoo money. Brilliant. Or an Anthony, or a Mason Mount.
Yeah, all right, so we've got Anthony, and we've still got 4 million left over.
Yeah, all right, then with that 4 million, we'll go and get a Massimo Tahibe, right? So we've weakened our team, we've lost a very good player we've got, we've paid more on wages, we've lost a player that could have been here for the next 15 years and been our talisman. He could have been the next Brian Robson, and this is someone who used to watch Brian Robson. And we've replaced him with garbage that's absolutely useless to us, that's cost us more money. Yeah. Right? That doesn't make financial sense.
No, but you've painted the worst case scenario there.
Yeah.
What if, let's say, I think selling him is a disastrous idea.
Right.
I don't entertain
agree.
it for a single second.
Yeah.
He's probably my favourite player at Manchester United.
Right.
And if they even think about selling him, INEOS are a disgrace.
Yeah.
But from a financial perspective, let's say 100 million. I don't think it would be that because no one spends that these days, but let's say it's 100 million. We could make our team better for 100 million quid, more than one position's worth. Yeah. We could get a new left back, we could probably get a new top striker as well for that, and all of a sudden, the team's better. And unfortunately, that's the problem is, it is true. The problem with football and the problem with PSR, the way it's currently structured is, it is true that selling Kobbie Mainoo is financially a good idea for Man United, which is why we're entertaining it. Mm-hmm. And that's the problem. And it shouldn't be the problem. It shouldn't be the way it is. But the way PSR is structured, this sort of pure profit thing, academy players you just look at them like, do you know when Scooby-Doo's hungry and he looks at Shaggy and his head's just a turkey? When INEOS look at Kobbie Mainoo, his head is just a briefcase full of cash. Yeah. He's pure profit. That's all he is.
Is there no one though, like, that you think they're that good that selling them doesn't make any sense whatsoever?
Well, I think Mainoo is in that bracket, if anyone is. But I just mean from a purely financial perspective.
And there's no evidence for me that United would spend that money wisely.
No, I completely agree.
Listen, we haven't had one good transfer window post.
Well, I agree with that, but
not one other than the Bruno one.
But that's a separate issue, isn't it? The way we spend that money is then a separate question to is
and also
that,
I think, and just from we talk about financial sense and all that, there aren't many shirt selling popular Manchester United players at the minute. My kids, right, have gone from loving Marcus Rashford to loving Garnacho to loving Kobbie Mainoo. Yeah. They have. He's the star. He's the one that all the kids love. He is. Because we haven't got many of them. No. And I think even from that point of view, you're taking away a superstar and a potential star for the next however many years and replacing him with, I get it. You might go out and you might buy another Bruno Fernandes, or you might buy another. It's even that. I was about to say another Paul Pogba, but was he great for United? He underwhelmed a lot.
Another Andrei Kanchelskis.
And sell him to Everton. So, for me, there are certain players where there's a line where you go, actually, I don't know if it does make financial sense. I understand your point, and I think you could even argue it more with someone like Alejandro Garnacho. I'm not hating on Garnacho. I love Garnacho. He's one, like I said a minute ago, he was one of my kids' favourite players. He was, a great, a very exciting young attacker. But I think there's more of a question mark over him and whether he's really gonna do what he wants. But with Kobbie Mainoo, maybe it's me. I think Kobbie Mainoo is one of those players that you should just ring fence.
But I think financially, though, he's probably the one player who'll probably sell for the most if we were to sell someone.
Yeah.
So if we're talking from a financial standpoint, yeah.
But what are you going to do with that money?
Well, yeah, this is the thing, but we're not talking about what we're going to do with the money.
No, you're going to buy more players, aren't you?
Yeah,
that's what I mean. I'm saying.
Well, then, as well, he's going to very soon want a wage increase as well, which he absolutely deserves.
Oh, yeah.
So again, you're stopping a wage increase, so you're taking that off. I don't think we should sell him whatsoever. If we do, like you said, just liquidate INEOS, but liquidate the club. Yeah. But if we're solely talking about financials, he's going to be the player that we get the most money for in this squad currently.
Do you reckon? Yeah.
Yeah, I think like again, what Lauren said, again financially making sense selling a player. He is the player that you probably would sell for the most money. Obviously, you could go in and get someone like Gyökeres? Can't even say his name. That one, like a top striker, because I still think that's something we're missing in the team. But like you said, I think Mainoo is just one for now and one for 15 years' time. He is a very, very important player for us now. He's a solid player in that midfield, and I think he will be for years to come. So again, what everyone else is saying, I don't want to sell him. I don't want to get rid of him. I think he needs to be kept, but it depends on how you look at it and what other player kind of positions you want to strengthen, which would make financial sense, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that does.
Yeah. I think it's really shit that it makes financial sense.
Yeah,
I hate
agree.
that it does.
Yeah. Totally.
We wish it didn't.
Yeah. I know.
and it's something like you said, they should ring fence him anyway. There's more to football than just finances and making the most money you possibly can. But yeah, it's a shame. But
that's the only thing that's scary as well.
I still doubt it does,
Yeah,
because I think there's a player there that can get
do.
into the Champions
100%.
League.
Yeah.
I know we've got a player that I think is good enough to win a title, good enough to win a Champions League, that fans will rally round, that will buy shirts off the back of. You will get marketing from. He's a young academy player.
English.
English matters, plays for England, he's an England regular, he's got a great attitude, he's marketable, fans love him, and he's good enough to get you earning more money from higher league positions and being in the Champions League and all the rest of it.
Absolutely.
I don't know if it does make financial sense.
So you're saying it more in the long run as well, of what he'll make.
Not right now.
You don't think there's anyone in the world that we could buy that's better than him for the money we'd get for him?
No, I don't.
Yeah,
I don't. I genuinely. I know you might laugh at that. And some people might go Cole Palmer. We ain't getting Cole Palmer for whatever we sell Kobbie Mainoo for.
No.
We're not. Like, if we sold Kobbie Mainoo for 100 million, Chelsea, can we have Cole Palmer? They're going to go, fuck off. We spent that on fucking Enzo Fernandez.
And also,
like, are you mental? Yeah. Like, I just, honestly, and get involved in the chat and the comments, and I'll admit one thing, I am extremely biased when it comes to Kobbie Mainoo. I make no, bones about it. But I don't know. By all means, if you think there is. Marty Smith says buses have 6 wheels, Jay. Thank you.
I knew it.
Why? Where are they?
I knew they must have.
Something
was up
must
there.
be.
See, Don R says 100 million for Mainoo, no brainer. Cash in.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for it.
We've got a picture of a bus here.
It's got 4 wheels on it.
Yeah, it's 4 wheels.
On it as
Where
well.
are the other 2?
Don R says 100 million for Mainoo, no brainer. Cash in. Is there a figure you think would make sense to you?
I don't think we'd get 100 million for him, personally. No, there's no figure that would make sense for me. No. I'm not selling him. No. If it's up to me, I'm not selling him.
And I don't think
the point?
100 million. Like, I know it's a lot of money, £100 million, but we spent like almost that on. Harry Maguire cost 80 million.
Well, exactly.
Lukaku cost 80 million.
Yeah.
Anthony cost 85 million, I think.
Yeah.
I know these are examples of signings that haven't quite worked out the way we want them to, but you can quite easily reinvest 100 million and not, it's not like sort of, if I don't know, 10 years ago, if you paid a certain amount of money, you guaranteed a certain calibre of player.
Yeah,
I think those days are gone.
Yeah.
I think they went out the window when Barcelona paid 145 million for Felipe Coutinho.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just, you can spend a load of money on a player now and not have.
Well, we've spent £1 billion in the last 10 years.
Yeah,
and it's not.
that's a
it's
really
not
good
even
point.
got us really close to winning a
I feel
Premier
like
League.
we're
So,
always crying
you're
out,
right.
as United fans, crying out for longevity as well. And we've got a player there who's young, who's brilliant now, and will be brilliant for years.
Yeah.
So it would be stupid. Although it could make sense the way, if you looked at it a different way, it would be stupid to sell him, 100%.
Brian Casey said it only makes financial sense to sell Kobbie if it's for 400 million. There you go.
Yeah, we'll go. Well, yeah.
Fuck off. In the polls, it makes financial sense to sell Kobbie Mainoo. Agree, 22%. Disagree, 78%. Wow. So people thinking he's almost priceless to some people. I think you could sort of get from that.
Even that, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Get that.
Yeah, but that's not a financial argument then, is it?
What do you mean?
If you think if you think that Kobbie Mainoo is actually worth 400 million quid and someone paid that, we could make a better team than we have with him for that money. So he isn't priced, from a financial perspective.
So
there is a point where he isn't worth it, if you know what I mean. But then it becomes an emotional argument.
I don't know. Brian might. I think he's joking when he says financial perspective is 400 million.
Yes, but I think
because I don't think that's going to happen.
No,
that
of course
wouldn't happen.
But I mean, there is a line where it stops being a financial argument and just becomes an emotional one.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's both. For me, there's both.
Yeah.
I think it is a financial and an emotional one. And also, there's things that this is a financial argument. I don't think it's worth it financially, as I've explained, but also emotionally and other areas as well. What message is that sending to the, to other players?
I completely agree with all that. The only thing I'd say
they're a selling club now.
But I'm only talking about the financial
like,
element of it.
Yeah.
Going back to Newcastle made a financial decision with Andy Cole, and it sent a message out to everyone. Do you know what I mean? Where you have fans at the gates trying to kill Kevin Keegan. I think sometimes there's players where you go, actually,
we've just got to keep him.
You know what I mean? You've got to keep him because he's a superstar, and he's probably, you said it, with the only one you can sell. It's the only one you can sell big money for a reason. He's the only young, extremely talented player that you probably go. I mean, you might argue Amad Diallo, you might argue Garnacho or Yoro or whatever, but there's not many of them, is there? And I think if we are going to move forward, you need to keep hold of likes of Kobbie Mainoo. Let me know what he's saying. Arvin V says, 2 billion is about right. You see people just being,
And as well, we are throwing around 100 million, but again, realistically, we probably won't get 100 million for him. So then if you're say we get 70, then maybe it's not worth it. Yeah. It's all hypothetical
I think
figures.
Going back to your earlier point, Joe, the whole, because he's an academy player, it's all profit, does everyone in. Because then it's like, it's only 50 million, but it's all profit. Mm-hmm. That's not the point, though, is it?
But you've got a star player there who's young.
You know what I mean? It's like, it's sort of skews it, because that's like, if you got 50 million for Kobbie Mainoo, that's like getting 110 million for Mason Mount, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Which makes people think, actually.
Which is never going to happen.
Yeah, no, unfortunately.
Scott McTominay, what do we sell him for? 30 million? Have Man United in our history ever made 30 million on a profit on a player we've bought? I don't think we have. So
Doubt it.
So like Scott McTominay is our most profitable transfer of all time.
30 million?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Ronaldo, sorry.
Of course, yeah.
So
Ronaldo, other than Ronaldo, that's do you know what I mean? And Scott McTominay was a decent squad player, but that's what I mean. So,
yeah. Joshua Bowater in the super chat says, surprised Jay ain't launched himself over the table at Joe, to be honest. And doesn't make sense because replacing Kobbie would cost more than we'd get for him, which was the argument I was making. I'm not going to launch myself at the table for agreeing with Joe. Okay. Do you know what I mean?
But again, though, let's use Ronaldo as the example. If you sold Mainoo and got the next Ronaldo for 20 million quid, then you would say it doesn't. It made sense to sell him.
Yeah.
Obviously, then the emotional arguments come in, which aren't purely financial, which is I love him. I don't want to sell him. What does it say about Man United if we start selling academy players, etc., etc., etc.? But if you bought Wayne Rooney and let's say you sold Mainoo for 80 million, you bought the next Wayne Rooney and the next Ronaldo, then it was worth it financially. Yeah. It just if you buy shit players, which we would, then it wasn't.
We were just looking at it as a black and white question of financial.
It's just purely hypothetical. What would happen with that money?
I think Manchester United on almost all fronts are better off keeping Kobbie Mainoo.
Yeah.
Financially, emotionally, whatever. As a team, however you want to look at it, I just think he's that one player you go, do you know what? With him in the side, you've got a puncher's chance against anyone.
Absolutely.
Keep hold of him, and others may disagree.
I
agree. But I think we all agree on that. The next question is, sorry, one sec. Oh, great. Sorry, I'm having a stinker here. I've got all confused with my...
Where's the screen? Where's the Jay's lost his head here.
I've lost the thing with it. Where's that list? Hey, Ethan, can you send me the list again? I can't find it. Sorry about this. And we'll get to the next question as soon as I've got the list. Okay, I'll ad-lib it. Right.
Yeah, go on then. Give us one.
Oh right, there you go. I was just about to ad-lib it, but it's all right. I don't know why I couldn't see that a minute ago. I looked at it. Scholes is right. INEOS have done nothing positive for the club so far.
I wouldn't say nothing.
And listen, I love Paul Scholes, but
yeah, I wouldn't say nothing.
We'll disagree.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact of the matter is, it took three of you at least 20 seconds to decide that. So it shows there's a lot they've done wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Which
absolutely.
I think they have. The only reason I went straight with that is because I think Ruben Amorim's a good appointment. And
Absolutely.
I think that's one thing straight away. I was like, well, that was a positive move, and I'm not hating on Ten Hag, but let's be honest. Lauren, I'll start with you. You debated it in your head slightly before you did. What have you made of what they've done, and why did it take you a few seconds before you could give them credit for at least one thing, whatever that may be?
Because I say there has been a lot that they've done wrong. You know, I felt like we might have got a bit more sentiment from Jim Ratcliffe with where he's from and he's a apparent United fan and this, that and the other, and it's kind of felt a bit cold with what he's done. But I think the transfer window, we were kind of praising a couple of the actual business sides of the deals. We did make some quite quick deals with players, quick signings, which is we'd not seen for a very long time, really. So that kind of got us a bit excited. But then, it kind of all went downhill after that. With, obviously, the whole Sir Alex situation. Again, like the getting rid of hundreds of staff. But then Ruben Amorim, I'm quite glad that they got rid of Ten Hag, didn't give him the rest of the season, and they made that decision. So there's been a couple of okay things they've done, but nothing that's really given us much positive.
Before I come to you guys, just a couple of comments. Daniel Berry says, INEOS cuts were why United avoided PSR punishment. I don't know. You're speaking to Kieran Maguire tomorrow, aren't you?
Yeah.
So we'll get some more info on INEOS, the decisions they've made, the financial ramifications of them, and where United are with PSR and everything. The Manchicutioner, which is a fantastic name, says, didn't they invest into Carrington facilities? Mm-hmm. And they did. You know what I hate? I think United just we're like cursed. Whenever you praise something or say, oh, that's good, or he's great, they fall off a cliff or it goes wrong. I'm going on the telly not long ago and saying, well, they brought in Dan Ashworth, that's a good move. And then
he's gone. He's gone.
He wasn't even here long enough to remember
it. That was a positive move they made a few weeks ago of the telly.
And then he's gone.
Oh, God.
I was like, I'll sacked him. I only said it this morning. You, again, like Lauren, you thought about it, Chelsea, but the fact that they've, yes, they have obviously got some things right, but there's a lot they've got wrong.
Yeah, I feel like coming into it, when we got INEOS, I was a bit excited by it all because I was like, oh yeah, less control for the Glazers, it might start looking up. Jim Ratcliffe is a United fan, blah blah blah. But obviously, since then they have, as well as doing some good things, like you said, investing in infrastructure in Carrington, appointing Ruben Amorim, which I think is the best thing that they could have done. Again, I do think it is, like Lauren said, it does feel a little bit cold and a little bit like it's very businessy, which is what I was worried about, because the Glazers were very businessy. They haven't really got football heads. They're kind of just, money-making business. And I feel like INEOS slightly look like they're going that way a little bit now, and that's not what we want at all. Obviously, the sentiment of the club doesn't seem to matter to them. Again, the Sir Alex thing, cutting wages, wanting to get rid of Old Trafford. It's a lot of, for me, being a very sentimental person, I don't like that. But then again, I think this transfer window was probably one of the most promising transfer windows we've had in a while. I know it's not worked out for every single player that we signed. But I just don't think you can say, I don't think you can say they've done an awful job so far, but I don't think you can say they've also done a brilliant job. I think they've been okay, and they've probably done a bit more than what just the Glazers would have done, but I don't think it's particularly entirely positive or entirely negative. Yeah. It's just meh. Yeah. It's just a bit meh.
Diego Marijuana says, love Joe. sorry, not Jay, he says, love Joe, let me get it right, for having a heart, not being too robotish unlike others. Those who treat players like pawns and those who use the amount of money players get paid as a justification for their toxicity. GGMU.
Thank you.
Is that what you're doing on your phone, on your little burner account?
Send.
I think we don't know.
Copy paste that into the comments.
Joe,
Yeah.
obviously you've disagreed as well, or whatever it was. I can't remember which way around it was.
I've disagreed that they've done nothing.
Yeah,
good,
they've
so
done
they have
nothing.
done some things good.
If we're looking at the things they've got right,
Yeah.
what do you think they've got right? Someone else in the comments, sorry, just before I ask you, said Feed Khabib says INEOS have brought in Cheeto and Coney and this Paraguayan kid for about 5 million combined as a he views that as, or they view that, sorry, as a positive.
That
What
could
do
be
you
a
reckon?
good thing. Yeah, I do think they've actually like taken an interest in Man United, which has come with a lot of negatives as well.
Yeah.
But you realise like the Glazers didn't even. I don't even think they thought about Man United most days of the year. Do you know how we were always like? Do they know how much we hate them? Do they know all the stick they get? I don't think they even knew they owned Man United most of the time. I think it's the sort of thing you go. Don't you put your hand in your pocket and there's a fiver in there? That's them when they get their dividend every year. Fucking.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot about 8 million quid. I forgot about Man United. Fucking hell, I ain't worn this jacket in ages. That was how they viewed Man United.
Yeah.
That's why we had. And like more staff than most teams. We had people like Ed Woodward knocking about for a decade when he was shit for all 10 of those years.
Yeah, he was.
Like people who just like at any other club, Ed Woodward would have gone after probably the Fellaini debacle in his first season. You got all these options, and you end up getting the bloke who the manager wanted at the start of the summer, at the end of the summer, after his buyout clauses ran out. So now you have to pay more for him. See ya, you're gone. And instead he got 9 more years after that. Like the Glazers just didn't care. So at least INEOS are here doing stuff.
Yeah.
And it may be ruthless and it may be horrible, and some of it we've slagged off no end, and I think they've made bad decisions. But I do think that we're at least owned by owners that want Manchester United to be functional and want Manchester United to make sense on and off the pitch.
And just be present.
It's horrible
Yeah.
now, but hopefully in a few years we can look back and go, whilst I didn't agree with that, and they need to sort out the whole ticket price thing, because if it just
That's ridiculous,
triples
yeah.
overnight and stays that way for some tickets, then that's just horrendous.
Yeah.
But you might look back and go, at least Man United like makes sense now. We're a club that has a rough idea of like what we're doing, and you can kind of make sense of the decisions. Before we were just an afterthought that ended up being this kind of like, like you go into some Burger Kings and you go, why is there like 2 people working here? One's just like a middle-aged woman and they're like a 14-year-old boy, and you're like, this is bizarre. That's what Man United had become. We're like a ghost Burger King where no one really comes in anymore,
Strange
and you can't
analogy.
work out what's going on in there.
A ghost
but it
Burger
makes sense.
King. I thought we Pete's with 6 wheels on a bus.
You never walk into a Mackey's and it's like that. You know what I mean? There are those Burger Kings where you walk in and you go, what the fuck is going on in here, guys?
There's one near me.
Yeah.
Genuinely, do you even know you're open? That was Man United.
Anad S in the super chat, sorry I missed this one thing, said, but would you pay 200 grand a week for a 19-year-old with one good season? Yeah, I probably would. Sabre says Spurs spending the bail money on Dross.
Yeah.
Risky move. We've all, sorry, I'm going backwards.
No one's saying they want to sell Kobbie.
No,
No.
we're just
That's
saying
not-
the
no one's
argument
saying
was
that.
about
Not a chance.
financial, the financial benefits, if you will. Santa Notch says, sounds like the Burger King near Margate. In the question,
Saying.
down
Burger
at Margate, Scholes is right. INEOS have done nothing positive for the club so far. Agree 41%, disagree 59%. I think the one thing INEOS have done badly at times is they've come in and treated it like you treat a business.
Yeah.
Right. We have got to, you mentioned it there about sentiment.
Yeah.
You have got, this is what we do at businesses. We get rid of things that we don't technically need. We don't technically need to give people a £100 Christmas bonus. We can give them a £40 Marx's voucher.
Yeah.
There's a few quid saved.
Yeah.
We don't have to give money to Mudza. We don't have to give money to former players. Not every club does that.
No.
So we don't need to do that. But then you have to remember, United isn't a business.
Yeah.
It's more than that. Andy Mitten, I think, said it well. If a supermarket lowers the prices, you'll go to a different supermarket if you're getting the same product. You don't do that if necessarily with a football club. A football club is something that is emotionally attached to you. And I think there's a little bit of a limit there with certain things where you have to remember that. You have to go, actually, these aren't just customers, the fans. They are a bit more than just customers. We have to treat this a little bit differently than we would if we were going into a new petrochemical company and laying off all the staff and cutting all the Christmas bonuses and stopping all the charity donations. It's not quite the same. So some of the decisions I think have been foolish and unnecessary. But I get that we have to change things. I get that more of the same will just give us more of the same on the pitch. Let's move on. Let's ask the next question. All right, this is I don't know, man.
Not filling me with confidence.
Oh yeah, you're not.
I feel like this is going to be a quick one, an open and shut one, but I'll do it anyway.
Go for it.
Zirkzee. You know, I'm going to change this, right? Zirkzee will get 10 goals in all competitions for Manchester United this season.
10 goals in all competitions.
What's he on now?
4, I think. Is it 4 or 3? He's on 3. It was 2 against Everton, and 1 against Fulham.
10 in all comps.
Zirkzee scored against Tottenham. Oh, right, 4 was on 4.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've done him a disservice. I've forgotten 25% of his goals. So he's on 4. He'll get 10 in all comps. For Manchester United this season.
I don't hate him, by the way.
Wow. Yeah, again, I'm on my own.
It's close. I could join you.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
It was.
Could end up being 9.
Sorry. Well, unlike the rest of them, Josh, I believe in you, son.
Yeah.
Chelsea, start with you. You don't think he will get 10 goals in all competitions this season? He's only got 4. Do you know what I mean? He could get 6 against Rangers.
He could.
He's 40% of the way there.
He could.
Yeah.
Why don't you think he will?
I don't, he doesn't fill me with confidence. The role he kind of plays, I don't know if it's due to his confidence in himself, because obviously when he got booed off the day, which I completely do not agree with, like, you should not be booing off singular players. But I just think that's a massive knock to his confidence. He doesn't look confident, I don't think, when he's on the pitch. And I think because he seems to be second choice behind Højlund, I'm not convinced on him yet. I don't know. I mean, he could get 10. I'm not saying it's completely impossible, but I don't really rate him in the way that he's being used at the minute. He just doesn't like he's going to score. Like against Liverpool, I feel like he should have gone for it then. He should have had the confidence to go for that, but he passed it to Maguire, and I just think, I don't know. I just can't see it happening.
Lauren, you don't think he'll get 10 goals either?
No.
I love the fact as well you said booing him singularly. You don't boo them all. That's fine. Boo everyone.
If you're gonna,
we've all done that.
I would never do it. But if you're gonna, at least do them
I
all.
love a bit of booing as
not
much as
just
the next
one.
person. Well, no, just boo everyone. So, I mean, I'll just boo one.
I felt sorry for him, poor lad.
I did.
I did.
Yeah, you don't think he's going to get 10 goals in all comps, which is pretty poor by a first
it's really sad.
Let's not sugarcoat it. You know what I mean?
I feel sad for him because I actually like him, because you can see he tries. But like, what is he, 6'4"? He can't even win an aerial duel. Like, and it's just, and I feel like, I hate to say it, but I look at him and he just doesn't look like a football player. When he goes, his hold-up play sometimes is all right, but when he's in front of goal, it looks like nothing's going to happen. No. It could be right in front of me and still miss an open goal. Like, I don't know, I've got no confidence in him, however much he tries, which makes me really like him, because he does try and you can see him trying, but it's not working for him.
No.
Before I go to you, Joe, I'll give the revisionist opinion. I think the fact that he's already on 4, the fact as well, I always think if a player's getting opportunities and getting chances and missing them, I have faith that they can get goals. You look back at Liverpool at home, he missed 2 sitters, but he was in the right spot. Højlund at times isn't even in the right spot. He's nowhere near the opposition penalty area. You look at the Fulham one, which, you know, he was there, wasn't he? I know it's, again, was slim pickings to goals to choose from. The Spurs one that I forgot about, he's in the right place.
Yeah.
And I think if you keep getting yourself in the right place, I'm not saying he's going to get loads of minutes, but if you get enough of a chance, I think he can get another 6 goals this season. We've also got Europa, we've got league games coming up as well, where if Marcus Rashford, which I think we all agree, is going to move out like he's a lodger.
Pack his bags and move
out. He's going to go. If he leaves the club and we keep Zirkzee, there's a good chance Zirkzee might end up getting even more minutes, because I don't know United are going to bring in a striker. We might not. We might end up Marcus Rashford going out and Højlund and Zirkzee being our only 2 real strikers. Maybe Cheeto further down the line gets some minutes as well. So I think he can do it, and I think he will. I think overall he'll end up with about 10 goals, and I think there's a good chance that he does that, and at the end of the season they go, look, he's not the right guy, because just to get 10 goals in all comps doesn't mean that you're good enough.
No.
I just think for the time being he might he might be okay. What do you reckon, Joe?
I don't think he will. I think he'll probably get near it. He could, obviously,
Yeah.
but I think we're more than halfway through the season now, and also we've had most of the Europa League group stage, which is where we it's a big chunk of game. Like we could easily go out in the next round of the Europa League.
Yeah.
Especially the way we're playing.
Point.
And they're the easiest games.
Yeah.
I think we've still got a couple more, so I'm not, it's not fully done, is it? But we've had 7 or 6 of those games now.
Yeah.
And it's still 4 goals. The one thing that is in his favour, there's a couple of things. One is Højlund doesn't usually stay fit all season.
That's a
So
shout.
if he gets injured, then and Rashford leaves, and Zirkzee is our only striker. And it'll remain to be seen if he plays him there, because he sort of said he's not number 9. So if Højlund gets injured and Bruno starts playing up front, then I'm worried.
Well, he calls himself a 9.5, doesn't he?
Yeah,
So,
he does, yeah.
But also,
give him a chance.
in Zirkzee's defence, in terms of his finishing, you're exactly right what you said, Lauren, about how he looks in front of goal. He doesn't look like he's got that clinical edge. He doesn't look like he almost knows what to do at times. He's sort of swinging a leg through it and not getting it right. But there's another player who I saw looking like that for Man United recently, a couple of years ago, and it was Cristiano Ronaldo. In his second season, after he didn't really have a pre-season, he was awful in front of goal, and he's literally the best goal scorer of all time. So I'm not ruling out Joshua Zirkzee as like, he'll never score goals, and hopefully he can do it for Man United, but he is in that kind of confidence at the minute where, like, do you remember Ronaldo where we were like literally giving it him on a plate and he's hitting the post with it in the crossbar? It was like something at half-time with a kid, and Fred the Redding goal, and Ronaldo's the best goal scorer that's ever
was
existed.
it Sheriff away where Diogo Dalot
Yes.
was like, with your kids in the garden where you go, here's the ball,
Yeah.
go on, like, have a shot.
Yeah.
It was like he did everything he could to just give it to Ronaldo.
And no one's denying Ronaldo's one of the greats of all time in terms of putting the ball in the back of the net. So Zirkzee could still turn it around. When confidence is low with footballers, they'll do bizarre things.
Yeah.
So hopefully he can, but I just don't quite see it this season.
It's mad. There's Ronaldo and Weghorst comparisons going on here in the chat.
Yeah.
It's so
Wow.
crazy.
Honestly.
What a time to be alive, as they say.
If I choose between Weghorst and Zirkzee, I know who I'd have. It's Weghorst.
Legend.
Absolutely.
Trophy winner.
A sister in the Carabao Cup final.
Hey, he celebrated that 4th goal against Real Betis like I'd celebrate scoring the 4th goal
He
against
loved
Real
it.
Betis.
He loved us.
That was the most emphatic celebration I've ever
honestly.
seen by anyone at Old Trafford, and it was the most meaningless goal I've ever seen at Old Trafford as well. It was like the goal that if he didn't score, it didn't matter, but he absolutely melted it.
Proper
Fair play
passion.
to him.
Living his dream.
Yeah, he was. Steve Downey says, Weghorst 2.0, plenty of effort, just short of quality. Listen,
He's got more goals in fewer games than Weghorst.
Yeah, Weghorst didn't score 4
Zirkzee's
goals.
defence.
And he didn't score in the Premier League.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
But I get the comparison, but
Yeah.
Zirkzee
Yeah.
is at least getting the ball in the back of the net a handful of times.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't mean to insult you then. Josh S says, did Sir Jim go to Kathy's funeral, by the way? I don't know, and listen, I get, like, Kathy Phipps is a legend and all that, but I'm not trolling through pictures looking for people to see if they're there. I'm not sure. One more. We'll do one more.
Cool.
This is a good one. I like this. This is a fun one.
This fills me with a bit more confidence.
Yeah.
than
Sorry,
the last one.
in
Scared
the
me.
poll as well, forgive me, Zirkzee will score at least 10 goals in all comps. Agree 56%, disagree 44%.
Pretty split, that's fair.
Yeah,
enough.
which is, I'm like, do you know what, right? We give United fans a load of stick for the way he got booed. He got his name sung at Anfield.
Yeah.
United
Yeah,
fans have
that was
also
nice.
got
That
behind
was
him.
good, yeah.
The majority of fans have got behind him. And I think we have to, remember that we're not all against the kid.
Exactly.
United would be better off if they were bought by the Qataris. When we say the Qataris, Sheikh Jassim's contingency or whatever it was, consortium, sorry. We'd be better off right now if Sheikh Jassim came in and bought us.
Bet as in this very moment, or like
Right now.
generally.
Let's just do generally.
Generally.
We'd have been better off being bought. Let's put it that way. We would have been better off being bought by the Qataris. Let's just say that. Yeah?
Yeah.
It would have been a better move for Manchester United Football
I'm not
Club.
having it personally.
Wow. Look at you all. Oh, he's from Failsworth. Oh. I mean, I've done it myself. We'll start with you, actually, Lauren. Yeah, why do you why do you still think, despite all INEOS' shortcomings, they're a better option than the Qatari contingent?
I just think it probably would have been a bit like they'll throw all this money at us and there'd be no thought behind it, and we'd still end up buying players just for the name, and it'd become more like that and more of a circus than an actual footballing brain of it. So I think I just think it would have become a circus if the Qataris took over. Just throwing every bit
and
of money.
if we're going to have a circus, we're going to have a bigger one than we've got in a minute.
Oh, God, yeah. They just throw everything but the kitchen sink at it, and we'd be nowhere further ahead.
Where would we stand with PSR with them? Because wouldn't that still be a thing? Or
Yeah, but we'd be sponsored by Qatar.
So we'd
okay, so that would be the way around it. Right, okay, fair enough.
Like a lot of them do.
Absolute giga sponsorship. Yeah,
we'd make
it'd
Man
be
City
unbelievable.
look, you know.
Well, look at PSG. I know
legal.
it's not the same Qataris, it's not the same people, but they are up to their tits in sponsorships, and they went kitchen sink style. Messi, Ramos, Hakimi, Mbappe, Neymar, didn't they? And it didn't get them a Champions League.
No,
I think
that's
they have won
exactly
their
how
domestic
it'd be.
league like 12 of the last 13 years or so. Maybe I'd have taken that.
Yeah. Charles, what do you reckon? You think that despite the failings or the shortcomings or the questions around INEOS, that's a better move than had Sheikh Jassim been successful?
I just think we are still in the very, very early stages of INEOS's kind of control at United. I feel like we're still in a transitional period, and I feel like, yes, there have been shortcomings and there have been problems, but there has also been positives as well. And there is, like Lauren said, a bit of thought. Not that we all agree with 100% everything they've done, but there's a bit of thought behind what they're doing. And I just think, again, if you've got a football club like Man United and you've got all this money, you're just going to go out and buy all these big name players that cost all this money, but there's no guarantee that they're going to work. It's no guarantee that we're going to be playing any better just because you can sign big names. And then also, I'm not 100% sure how like financial fair play works and stuff, but that was a bit of a concern, because I don't know if we'd end up like Man City with all these charges and stuff, and it concerns me a little bit, that. So I don't think kind of getting INEOS in was a better or worse decision than getting the Qataris. I just think it's a different route or a different avenue that we've gone down. But again, I just think it's too early to say, because we're still in a very, very big transitional period. So yeah.
I feel, I kind of agree with all that. Santa Notch says, another Ed Woodward banker who has never run a football club. No idea if he would have brought football people in. Club still retrained with FFP, etc. And he didn't even put in a bid in the end. Yeah, I mean, we know he didn't successful.
Did we find out if he was real or not?
It's a grey area. I think he was real, or he is real. It's just, there was not many pictures of him floating around, which is quite weird for a billionaire.
I think I've only seen one.
For me, the whole Sheikh Jassim thing, it feels a little bit like, it's like Donny van der Beek. You know, it's like, he was the answer to all our problems. He was going to fix everything. Oh, you can play him in the 6, you can play him in the 8, you can play him in the 10. Oh, he'll score your goals. Oh, he'll defend. He'll do everything. Him.
Sheikh Jassim will score your goals. That is one guarantee.
It's like any issue we've got now, Sheikh Jassim would have fixed that. Sheikh Jassim would have sorted that. Sheikh Jassim would have been the answer for that. Well,
Sheikh Jassim would have put that in at the back post.
Yeah, he would have. We wouldn't have bought Josh Zirkzee if Sheikh Jassim was there. We would have bought. Well, we don't know that, do we? We don't know. He's like. It looks like, oh yeah, he could be the answer to our problems, but ultimately, for whatever reason, he didn't buy Manchester United, and then became embroiled in a row with the Glazers when they said he never proved he had the money to buy it. It just all got, you mentioned the circus there. It did turn into a circus without him even buying us. So God knows what it would have looked like had he been successful. So there's an element for me now where, listen, I hate the Glazers, I want them gone. I hope that INEOS do turn it around and show us what they're about, and these are successful moves, and also eventually we'll get the Glazers gone from Manchester United. And I think that would have been, had it been real, a positive if Sheikh Jassim would have come out and bought them out straight away. But there's too many ifs for me to really believe that we'd be better off. Joe, you went along with the same votes as the rest of us. What are your thoughts on it?
There's a few points. One is, the Glazers didn't want to sell the entirety of Man United, so it doesn't matter whether Sheikh Jassim wanted to buy it all or not. He couldn't. Yeah. And the proof of that is he hasn't bought it all. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. If he even had the money to buy it, any portion of it, why didn't he just buy the 28.9% or whatever it is that Jim Ratcliffe owns? Why didn't he do that? Why, all of these things are red flags to me. Like publicly, or what's leaked to the press, you hear that the debt will be wiped straight away. We'll have a new stadium within X number of years. We'll be the richest club in the world. We'll be all this, that, and the other. And yet, the things that you actually have to do to buy Manchester United, you can't do any of them. You can't show proof of funds. You can't deal with the Glazers. You can't buy them out completely. You can't do any of it. Why would I believe all this other shit when the stuff that you actually have to do to get in the door to do all that in the first place, can't prove any of it? And then there's this state ownership thing that I don't want to be owned by a country or the royal family of a country, whether that's America, Qatar, or wherever. I don't want geopolitical political relations between England and Qatar to affect how my club is ran.
No.
Look what happened. I know it wasn't even a state ownership. Look what happened with Abramovich. His ties to the Russian government and the Russian state meant that he had to sell Chelsea when a war broke out. I don't want to be in that position.
No.
I don't want that to ever happen to Man United, where we're all of a sudden all at sea because who knows what the next 20 years looks like between Qatar and the UK. Don't know. I don't want that. And also all the human rights things that go along with that. I don't want to be part of that. I just don't want it. And all, you know, this idea that it all would have been better, no evidence of that whatsoever. And like I said, the time he did have to put his money where his mouth was, it wasn't there. So why would I believe anything else? I just don't see any reason why Qatar would have been better than INEOS. Not that they've been great either, but all I see from Qatar is red flags.
No, I get this is a bit of fun, and it's a bit of fun.
No, I wasn't
What's fun
expecting
about
this question.
I know,
Right, you know, it's a bit of a laugh.
There's nothing that's fun about being a Man United fan, whether it's this question or anything else, Jay.
You know what I mean?
Certainly not fun.
This isn't real, but you know, like what we're talking about here, you know, we haven't, but we see there's so many what ifs, and you get into that when things aren't going your way. What if we'd have got rid of Eric Ten Hag in the summer and not now? When we did with Ruben Amorim. What if we'd have sold Marcus Rashford after that 30-goal season? What if you can send yourself, don't do that with it all, and I know this is part of the show and all that, it's a bit of fun, that can be a bit of fun, but yeah, there's only so many questions you can ask, like what if Sheikh Jassim had come in and bought all the best players in the world and sponsored us with a secret way of, you know, turned Old Trafford into the, you know, Qatari Airways Arena or whatever, and paid us like £5 billion a day, and we just had the greatest team, what if, but that wasn't really going to happen.
And also, if you did, then we'd just get done in 10 years' time for financial doping like Man City are doing. You can't just like come in and find money. No, like look at Newcastle. Like the way that the grand master plan that they've found with their endlessly rich owners is to sell academy players between a 2 or 3 number of teams for slightly inflated prices. They've not found 600 million quid to spend on players, have they?
No.
They can barely buy anyone. Couldn't even muster up a Mark Gay in the summer. So all of a sudden Qatar come in and United have got trillions to spend. Why would that happen?
It's so insane, isn't it? When you see like Eddie Howe or whatever in an interview, and it's almost like we're so hard done by. We can't spend all these billions at these shit.
What a
Saudis got,
shame.
man. Like, bro, come on. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, the fact that you broke your transfer record about 6 times in the last 18 months is nothing to do with these new owners that aren't allowed to spend any of their money. Was it? It was Michael Owen was their fucking record until they got there. It was 20 years ago he went to Newcastle.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Ethan, but I haven't got much sympathy for Eddie Howe, to be honest with you. Right, I'm going to wrap it up there. But before we do, we're going to go through the results. So, number 1, a loan move will save Rashford's United career, even though we did slightly change the chat in that one.
Chat deceived.
The studio disagreed. I think his United career is over, and the chat was deceived. So, you know, we put his career, and the chat, I think, was 50-50 on that. The second one was it makes financial sense to sell Kobbie Mainoo. The studio agreed. I didn't agree with that. Regardless of how much financial sense you think it makes, you're wrong. Was my argument. And the chat disagreed, 76%. Scholes is right, INEOS is shite. The studio disagreed, and the chat disagreed as well. Zirkzee will score at least 10 goals in all comps. Fucking hell. The studio disagreed. The chat agreed, 56%. Very close, though. And United would be better off if they were bought by the Qataris. The studio disagreed, and the chat disagreed, 55%. So
there you go.
Quite close today, wasn't it? There's a few 50-50s there. And there was a few where we weren't all unanimous, but it was a good chat. Just before we wrap up, Christopher Matthews says, there's been sorry, I can't see. He's in the super chat anyway. He says, anyone who says sell Mainoo is dumb. I'm fine with Garnacho leaving. Killer, Sweater, Jumper Joe, need one. Pardon my Canadian English. I mean, your Canadian English is absolutely fine. It's better than my English.
I don't know what brand it is. Oh, there you go. 100% cotton. Made in France.
Ooh. Really?
That's how you know it's good. Come on, mate.
Made in France, eh?
Arpenteur. Never heard of it. Don't know where I got it from.
Brexit, mate. You should be buying English manufactured jumpers.
Yeah. Sounds Jim Ratcliffe.
Lauren, always a pleasure. Thanks for coming. It's been a little while, so back next week, yeah?
Absolutely.
Shell's back next week.
Absolutely,
for another one.
yes.
Joe, we'll be back later, won't we?
We'll be back tonight.
What have we got tonight? What's
all sorts
about?
Going on. Transfers. It's transfer season, Jay. It's all kicking off.
favourite
Transfers live
part of the
tonight
season.
at 10 o'clock.
Yeah,
Yes.
so Big thank you to everyone being on the show. That's been Lauren, that's been Charles, that's been Joe, I've been Jay. This has been Agree or Disagree. Thanks for watching.